Alright, so in this lesson we want to look at how to read a graph and how to calculate either the excess demand or the excess supply of something. And we've referred to this a little bit in the last graph, but I just want to hit this again. And then we're also going to talk about price controls and the different types of price controls, either price ceilings or price floors. So anyway, let's go ahead and look at this. We know that looking at this graph, and this is one that we've used previously, that the market equilibrium price, the market equilibrium is set where the two curves intersect. And so in this case, it's $3 is the price and 40 is the quantity. Again, we can go over to the supply and demand schedule, and where quantity demanded equals quantity supplied, that is the point that we want. That is the optimal price. That's the market clearing price. So what we want to do is, what if, let's choose another color here. What if, for some reason, a store set the price at $5, okay? And so what you want to do is come across, and whenever you're at a price, just come straight across until you hit the first curve, and you notice that this is the demand curve. And so you can bring that straight down and see that at a price of $5, the quantity demanded is 10. So at $5, quantity demanded is 10. And how about the quantity supplied? So we go back to this $5, go over until we hit the supply curve, and then we drop that down. We can see that the quantity supplied equals 60. Okay, and so what does this mean exactly? That means that if you're a store owner, then you're supplying 60 of something, whatever it is. But at a price of $5, only 10 people show up to buy it. And so when you end up with this scenario, we have what's called a surplus. All right. So if we're anywhere above the equilibrium price, if the price is anywhere above the equilibrium price, this area would be known as a surplus. And so how can you calculate out what this surplus is? You just take the quantity demanded and subtract out the quantity supplied, or vice versa. And so, we know that 10 people are showing up to buy it, and there's 60 on the shelves, and so the distance between these two is the surplus. All right? And so we take the quantity supplied minus the quantity demanded, and that'll give you the surplus. Okay, so again, anywhere above this price, so at $4, what would be the surplus? All right, well, we come over, we know that the quantity demanded here at $4 is 20. So we bring that down to 20. And the quantity supplied is 50, I believe. And so quantity, that is way too light. Sorry. The quantity demanded equals 20. The quantity supplied equals 50. And so we know that the surplus would be the difference between these two. So 50 minus 20. So the surplus here would be 30. All right. Let's go over to, let's see if I can, whoops, paste, see if we get lucky. All right, perfect. So that was a surplus. That's what happened when we have a surplus. Let me get rid of this real quick. All right, what if they decided to price something lower, okay, lower than the equilibrium price? And so instead of $3 being the equilibrium price, what if they priced it at $1? All right, what's going to happen then? And so graphically, we can look at it and say, okay, at a price of $1, start your dotted line over, and you run in, which curve do you run into first? All right, and then what is that going to tell you? So you run into the supply curve first, and so this is going to say, at a price of $1, what is the quantity supplied? And so we bring that down, and we know from over here that at $1, the quantity supplied is 15. All right, so quantity supplied equals 15. This is at $1. All right, and then we want to keep on going over. All right, and then we hit the demand curve, and so we know at a price of $1, the demand for this product is going to be 80. All right, so the quantity demanded is 80. So what we want to look at then is just try to imagine this in your head. You have something that's priced $1, and they're selling it at this store, and the owner has stocked 15 of this product on the shelves, and then 80 people show up at the door wanting to buy it. All right, and so what event is going to happen here? Well, the first 15 people are going to get what they want. And then you're going to have, so the first 15 get what they want, and so then we know that 65 people are still not going to have it. All right, they're not going to be very happy. And so what we can see, when the quantity demanded is greater than the quantity supplied, we end up with what they call a shortage. All right, and so graphically up here we can look at it and say the quantity demanded is there, quantity supplied is there, quantity demanded is there, and so this distance between these two is our actual shortage. All right, so we know that the first 15 people got it because that's how many was supplied. 80 people showed up total. Now, what about at a price of $2? All right, at a price of $2, the quantity supplied is 30. Do it up here. Quantity supplied equals 30, and the quantity demanded, that's a 3. The quantity demanded at $2 is 60. All right, so we can come over here. That'd be 60. Let me change the color here real quick. So $2, and then we come over here. So quantity demanded is 60, and so what's going to happen? 30 units are on the shelf. 60 people show up. We're going to end up with a shortage of 30. All right, and so that's how we measure excess demand or excess supply. All right, so let's look real quick at what they call price controls. And price control is simply when the government will set either a minimum price that can't charge below, or a maximum price that you can't charge above. So let's say that the demand is, here's the demand curve, here's the supply curve. Let's take the market for gasoline. All right, this is something that everybody wants. So let's say that the price of a gallon of gas is $3.30, and at $3.30 we sell 100 of them. And so let's say that some politician decides, you know what, I want to win a lot of votes. I want people to really like me, and so I'm going to make it a law that they can only charge $2 for a price of gas, for a gallon of gasoline. All right, and so somewhat intuitively you think this is a good thing because I don't like having to pay $3.30. If I can pay less, then I'm happy. Okay, and so, but what I want you to realize is that this would be probably one of the worst things that can happen, because if just doing the graph, and this is like we did on the other side when we did excess supply and demand, at $2, come across until you hit the first curve. All right, which curve is that? And what information is that going to give us? And so we know that we're on the supply curve. And so at $2, let's say that producers of gasoline will give us 30 gallons of gas, whatever it is, 30,000. Numbers don't matter as much. And so then keep on coming over. And we know that at a price of $2, let's say that 150 people, or the demand for gasoline goes up to 150 gallons. All right, and so as the price drops, we want more. That's just simply the law of demand. As the price goes down, the quantity demanded goes up, because we were here at 100, and now we're here at 150. And so is this a good thing? Is this a good policy that you would support? And so let's look, because we can say, look, the quantity supplied is 30, so at $2, and this fits with the law of supply. As the price comes down, the quantity supplied is going to drop as well. And so the producers of gasoline say, you know what, if you want to give me $2, this is all the gas that I'm going to give you. I'm not going to give you as much as before because it's costly to take it out of the ground. So anyway, so the quantity supplied is 30. Now the quantity demanded, we know, went from 100 all the way up to 150. And so what event just happened here? All right, people show up to buy 150 gallons, but there's only 30 of them there. We end up with a big time shortage of gasoline, and the shortage would be of 120 gallons, or whatever it is. All right, and so when we look at price controls, it sometimes sounds good in theory. We want to lower the price, but in practice, if the government imposed price controls on everything, we would definitely pay less, but there just wouldn't be a whole lot left, a whole lot to buy, because producers don't have an incentive to produce more product. Okay, so this would be what they call this is a price ceiling. And the idea is that we're putting a ceiling on top of the price. The price can't get above a certain point. So let me, hang on just a second. So this would be the ceiling. All right. Now, one thing you'll notice that the ceiling is actually drawn on the floor on the bottom of the graph. So an effective price ceiling, and I'll tell you what that means in just a minute. Effective price ceiling drawn below the equilibrium price. Okay. So why do I say effective price ceiling? Because this is just saying that the equilibrium price is sitting here at $3. They want to stop it at $2, and so is the equilibrium price above the price ceiling? And then you would say yes. All right. What if they said, you know what? We're going to put a price ceiling of $4.50 for gasoline. All right. Is that going to, what effect is that going to have? All right. And so if it's $4.50, we know that would be the quantity demanded, that would be the quantity supplied, but you really don't even have to figure any of this stuff out because all this says is that the price can't get above here. Okay. If that's our price ceiling, then we know that the price can't get above here. It's below it right now, and so the price ceiling doesn't have any impact. The price of gas would be $3.30. Okay, only when the price ceiling drops below the equilibrium price level, that is what makes it an effective price ceiling. So again, the summary for a price ceiling, the quantity supplied will tend to drop, and the quantity demanded will go up, and we will end up with a shortage. Okay. Now the last one for price under price controls. Whoops. We did price ceilings, and now we want to do price floors. Okay, and so this works in the opposite direction. So there's the quantity, here's the price, there's supply, there's demand. Let's say that we're doing, what do we want to do? Let's do wages. Okay, so this will be, instead of a price, we're going to do minimum wage. Minimum wage. All right, so right now, let's say that if there were no minimum wage law, then let's say the hourly rate at working at a fast food restaurant was $5, and we had 100 people working. Okay, so is it legal if McDonald's wanted to pay $5 for their workers, could they do it right now? And the answer to that's no, because our minimum wage is somewhere around $7.50, give or take a little bit. So what happens is, if 100 people would be hired in this market, if the government comes in and says, you know what, you can't pay people $5, you got to pay them $7.50. Sorry. You have to pay them $7.50, and so let's see what happens. When we come over here, now remember, you're the producer here. You are the manager of McDonald's. If they make you pay the workers more at $7.50, what's going to happen to the demand for the workers? All right, and so hopefully you can kind of intuitively look at it and say the demand for workers is going to go down if they have to pay them more because it's more expensive. And so let's say that the quantity demanded of workers would drop to 60, but at a price of $7.50, you have more people showing up to work that want to work. And so let's make that, say 130 people. And so the net result is initially we had 100 people that were employed, but by raising the minimum wage, we actually lowered the number of people working by 40. Excuse me for just a minute. Again, I apologize. Okay, so what we end up with, the quantity demanded equals 60, the quantity supplied equals 130, and so when the supply is greater than demand, then we end up with a surplus. All right. Now, there is a big debate, obviously, about minimum wage. Some people think it's a good idea. Others think we should just let the market decide. I've seen mixed data on, does this really happen with minimum wage jobs? Theoretically, this works, but there are arguments both for and against. I mean, what if the equilibrium wage rate was $2? Do we want it to go there, or do we think that, having a minimum wage is a good policy. You know, economically speaking, is this a good thing to do? And this is a debate that we're not going to have here. This is just an example of how you draw a price floor and what a price floor means. Let me give you another quick example. Let's say that we have the milk industry. What if the government said, you know what, the equilibrium price of milk, let's say it's $2 a gallon, all right? And they produce 100 gallons, price and quantity. And what if the government said, you know what, we want to make sure the farmers get $3 a gallon? What's going to happen if they pass a law saying that stores had to charge $3 a gallon? We'd come over here, the quantity demanded would go down because it's getting more expensive. But what are the farmers going to do? All right, if they can get, now remember, make sure you understand, the government is insuring them $3 per gallon. And so if you're a farmer, are you going to produce more if the government is guaranteeing that you'll get the $3 a gallon? And the answer is yes, okay? Because if the government didn't insure that, then the farmers would be like, you know what, they're not going to buy it at $3 a gallon. We need to adjust. And so under this policy, we're going to say that the government would buy the extra. And so in this scenario, what is it a shortage or is it a surplus? Okay, so you figure that out. The quantity demanded at $3, we come over here, hit the demand curve. So $3, come over here and hit the demand curve. We know that the quantity demanded is 80, and the quantity supplied would be 120. And so this is quantity supplied is greater than quantity demanded, and so we have a surplus of 40 gallons of milk. All right. Now, as you can see on the other graph, we had the price ceilings were drawn on the floors down here, okay, below the equilibrium rate, and the floors, price floors, we draw on the ceilings, okay. And so this would be an effective price floor. This would be an effective price floor, and I say effective again for the same reason on the other page. What if, in this case, what if the equilibrium wage rate was actually, you know, up here, and people were getting $9 an hour? If the government said you can't pay anybody less than $7.50, is that going to have any impact if the wage rate is already $9? The answer is no. It'll only have an impact if the wage rate tries to get below $7.50. So let's say that the supply of workers went down to here. That would still be an effective wage rate. What if the supply of workers went to there? And so now it's $8. If it was $8 an hour, and this is it, this price floor is no longer matters because the wage rate is above what the minimum wage would be. Conversely, over here, let's say the demand for milk skyrockets over here. Here's our new price of $4. Is this an effective price floor? Well, no, it's not doing anybody any good because the price is $4. The government's guaranteeing $3, but it's irrelevant, okay? Because the price is above it. So an effective price floor is drawn. Let me write that out real quick, and I'm almost done. Effective price floor is drawn above the equilibrium price. All right. So that's that. That is what we call price controls. Two types of price controls: price floors. Floors are drawn on the ceiling, and the other type of price control is a price ceiling, and we draw the ceilings on the floors. And then we also talked a little bit about how to calculate excess demand and excess supply, or shortages and surpluses. So until next time.